Hey guys, welcome back, and hello to you new people too. Today I'm going to be talking to you about the new Urban Decay Pro brush line. I bought 9 of the brushes for my birthday because I'm worth it. This line of brushes just recently launched on Urban Decay's website. There are 29 different brushes. In case you didn't know, I normally use a mix of Wayne Goss, Urban Decay, Real Techniques, and Makeup Geek brushes for my daily brushes. If you watch any of my tutorial videos, those are the majority of the brushes you're going to see. I do have some brushes from other brands that I love, such as Cover FX, It Cosmetics, Delium, and even a couple Sigma brushes I have are pretty good. I normally don't use just one brush brand because there is not one single brush brand that makes all of the brush shapes that I need. But that may change. So anyway, I wanted to show you the new Urban Decay brushes. I think that they're absolutely beautiful. They're so gorgeous. As I'm sure you probably guessed, these are cruelty-free and vegan. What you probably didn't know about these brushes is that they are eco-friendly, so they're good for the environment. The super soft synthetic hair is made out of recycled plastic bottles. It's easier to clean and more hygienic than natural hair brushes. And honestly, I can't get over how soft these brushes are. They feel more like my Wayne Goss brushes than the normal Urban Decay brushes that I have, like say from the Vice palettes. The brushed gunmetal handles are made from recycled aluminum, and I personally think that this brush design looks very luxurious, very high-end. It actually makes me think of like Japanese brushes because of how this is like, it's got like a very subtle striation pattern on it. Let's see if you can see that. Yeah, the subtle like sort of stripy gunmetal pattern on it makes me feel like it just looks like a very high-end brush. I love this design. The other thing I really like about the design of this brush is, you see how it looks? It has like this black part back here that makes me personally choke back further on the brush so that I get like I'm pulling further back and doing more feather-light strokes rather than choking up too far on the brush. So I feel like it's almost, I don't know, an intuitive reminder to pull back a little bit on my brushes, which I have been striving so hard to do. So when comparing them to the old brushes, I feel like they're in a completely different class of brush. They feel much softer. The design, I think, is much more pleasing to the eye. If you pull a bunch of these brushes out of the makeup bag, I feel like they just look like they're a nicer high-end brush as compared to most of my other Urban Decay brushes, which I like, but you know, they're all funny colors, so they don't look very uniform. And the fact that they feel, I don't know, the fact that they feel so much nicer than I expected, the fact that they feel like my Goss brushes really blew me away. One thing I did notice is that I feel like they have slightly less give while still being soft than my Goss brushes, and it might be easier to see that if I demonstrate on my hand, like trying to run the brushes across on the back of my hand so you can see. I feel like the Goss brush has, you know, more give. However, I feel that it has the perfect amount of give for blending. Longtime followers of my blog and my YouTube channel will know that I have been searching for a vegan dupe for the Goss 6 brush for like 3 years because I love this brush, but I know a lot of you hate it because it's made from animal hair even though it's cruelty-free. So I've been trying to find a brush that was this exact dupe, at least in performance, and I've bought a ton of brushes in this quest and haven't found anything that came close until today. This brush, even though the shape is different, like this brush head, the shape is, it's kind of wide and then flat, and it has just like the perfect amount of give, I thought, whereas this one is tapered. And I pulled it out to give it a try when I did a recent sugar pill look for my anti-haul video, and I was blown away. I was like, holy crap, this is the perfect blending brush for me. So for me, this tapered blending brush is great for working on the hood of my eye or in my crease. I don't know, I'm so happy that I finally found a better blending brush and that it's cruelty-free and it's vegan. So, oh my god, this brush. I don't want to be all cheesy and say this brush gives me life, but I will say this brush helps me blend my eyeshadow better. So the next brush that I have to show you is the Iconic eyeshadow brush. Now this brush is one that I personally think is good for applying color like on the lid, in the hood of the eye, and then like softening it up. So it'll work for me as like a transitional color brush or a base shade brush. In comparison, it's smaller than the large eyeshadow brush. And since it's the Iconic brush, Urban Decay says you can pretty much do everything with this. You can apply eyeshadow, you can blend it out, use it for anything you can think of. So for me personally, I guess you could use it as like a soft way to blend over once you already have the color laid down. I couldn't really do more than like lay down a base shade or a transitional color with this brush. But if I was going to, you could also like probably use it to like color like right here on the hood, like where I would put a transitional color. Right there. Not quite up under my brows, but below it. You know, basically something to fit my hooded eye shape. This badass brush is the large blending brush. It is a huge brush. I'm going to show it to you in comparison to the Sugar Pill large eyeshadow brush. For me, this sort of brush I can only use to lay down a base color or to like softly blend a gradient. So like if I've already got like several colors on, I would lay this on top and just sort of softly blend to merge the colors a little better. This is the Smoky Crease brush. It's similar to the Tapered blending brush, except that it's similar to the Tapered brush, although like you can probably see this one's tapered and this one isn't tapered, but it's a little softer. The closest brush that I have is probably the soft dome brush from Makeup Geek, but the soft dome brush is tapered and has a lot more give. But I would use this brush the same way I would use this one. And for this, I like to use it with transitional colors or to soften like the darker color in my crease and blend it upwards into the transition. So that's how I like to use this brush. The next brush that we have is the Moondust brush. I was really excited by this because one, I have hooded eyes, meaning my eyes are like, I don't have a lot of lid space. So because I have tiny lids, I need brushes that make it easier for me to put color on the lid. And this brush is perfect for that. It's thicker than your average brush. Like, let me show you what it looks like in comparison to the large lid brush. So you can see it in comparison to the large lid brush. The large lid brush is thinner. This one's fatter, but it basically works really well with wet shades, glittery shades, shimmery shades, and it was specifically made to be used with wet colors like the Moondust eyeshadows. So basically, you know, you'll spray your brush with Urban Decay's All-Nighter spray or Fixative or whatever you're going to use, dip it down in the color, and then brush it on your eye. So it's perfect for that. It would probably also be good with that creamy formula, kind of like the ColourPop formula. This is the flat eyeshadow brush, and I just showed it to you a second ago in comparison to the Moondust brush. And basically, I would just use it to pack color onto the lid of my eye, or to do like a wash of color on my lid. You could potentially use this to pack concealer on your face too. I look like crap, I feel like crap, but I really wanted to make this video. The next brush I want to show you is the finger brush, and it's listed under face brushes. All of the brushes I showed you previously are listed under the eye brushes. This brush is basically supposed to mimic like your finger patting stuff on your face. So I've been using this to apply my eyeshadow primer to my eyelid. You could also use it for concealer, to stipple on a product, and you might also be able to use it with the ColourPop Super Shock Shadow formula thing too, just because of how the brush is. It's really dense. I tried to find another brush like this in my collection, and the only thing that I have that's similar is the Sigma Precision Round P82. And in my opinion, they're not even in the same class. This one is more rounded like a fingertip. This one's a lot bigger and bulkier in comparison, so I don't really feel like it's a fair comparison, or it's even a dupable brush. This is the domed concealer brush, and this one is basically for applying concealer around your face and blending it out so that you have like seamless edges. I also like this kind of duo fiber brush for applying eyeshadow or helping to blend out eyeshadow. So I think that it's got a couple different uses. I really like how it has like a lot of give. The only brush that I have that's kind of comparable in shape is the back of the Vice Limited brush, or any of the double-ended brushes that have like the creasy end on the back. But this is so much thinner in comparison than this one. This one's a lot thicker, but it's softer and has more give. The last brush that I have to show you is the Diffused highlighter brush. This brush is basically for highlighting around your face, and you can use it for a more sheer highlighter technique or for a stronger strobing effect. I used it to apply my highlighter on my cheek today. I'm wearing Urban Decay Aura on top of Urban Decay X-Rated blush. I like this brush. I'm not in love with it yet. When I was trying to find similar brushes to show you, it's kind of similar to the Goss One brush, but it's bigger, and I don't like this brush very much, the Goss One brush. It's just not for me. This one I do like it better. It has like a good amount of give. Typically my favorite brush for applying highlighter is this Real Techniques setting brush, and they just have different shapes. So I don't know, I think I'll get used to it, probably like it better. Anyway, I'm really happy that I bought these brushes from Urban Decay and I wanted to show them to you. If you would ask me to recommend just one brush, I would absolutely recommend the Tapered blending brush, because for me, this brush is amazing. I can now live without my Goth 6 brush, which before I felt like I really couldn't live without that brush just because I had never found anything else that blended so nice. Yeah, it is fucking fabulous. I love it. The other brushes that I would recommend if you were looking for one or two more would probably be the Moondust brush if you like to wear glittery, shimmery shades, because I think it is great as well. And I also really like the finger brush. I mean, I'm happy with all of them, but if you're only looking for like one to three to check out, those would be the three I would recommend. I truly feel like these brushes, at least the 9 that I have, are really well thought out. They're well designed. I think that they're beautiful to look at. I love the fact that they're so environmentally friendly. I love that they're vegan. And most importantly, I love that they work so well. I've bought brushes in the past that I'm just like, why did I spend my money on this crap? It sucks. These do not suck. These are great. I feel like I've really invested in some quality brushes. I love them. Anyway, what do you think of my first look at the Urban Decay Pro brush line? Please be sure to let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and share. And if you haven't already, be sure you subscribe to my channel. I make new videos weekly. Thanks so much for watching.